Welcome back to Scale Metal Kit Review. This is your host, Steve. Up next is the Build Your Own Delorean from Back to the Future by Eaglemoss. This is issue number 18. Welcome back. Here's the magazine for issue 18. As we open it up, you can see we have the usual table of contents, drive time, production diary, just wild about Harry, and a time traveler's guide. So with that, if you haven't done so already, head down to my description below where I put a link to how you can subscribe to this fantastic build from Eaglemoss. And with that, we'll move forward here. Here's a guide on all the parts that are included with this issue, and then we get right into the build first thing. So we're going to be fitting the filters, fitting the manifolds, and fitting the engine sides, and then the engine back. And then as we move forward, we're going to look at the production diary. The film crew goes back to school, Marty gets a girlfriend at last, and Huey Lewis makes a cameo appearance. So with that, we turn the page. There's a wonderful photograph of Michael J. Fox with Huey Lewis on the right there. Moving on, then we have an article about Harry Waters Jr., who played Marvin Berry. And then moving on, we have an article about Peabody's Barn, and a little quote here says, "Take that, you mutant son of a," and I'll let you finish that. And then they give us a preview of our next car parts, which will be the engine and thermostat in issue 19. So with that, let's look at the parts and let's build this bad boy. I'll be right back. Here's the parts pack that came with stage 18, and you can see we have quite a bit in this. I'll go ahead and take these out. We'll get a closer look and then we'll start the build process. Here's the parts for issue 18. This time we receive the engine back, the engine right side, engine left side, the right manifold, left manifold, the fuel filter, and the oil filter. We also received some DM screws and some AP screws. Let's get this party started. First off, we're going to install the filters. And in this case, the large black filter here gets inserted into the side of the engine block, just like that. Plastic filter, so we'll just screw it in. There we go, that is tight. The next filter we install is the fuel filter. You can see it does have a keyway on it. See that? And it goes into the side of the block using a keyway, and just like that. So it shouldn't turn on us while we tighten this down. There we go. That's nice and tight. And that completes that step. Next step, we're going to attach the right exhaust manifold to the side of the engine. And the one you want to use is the one that has the holes in it, like this. The one on the left side does not have the holes. In this case, we are going to be using AP screws again. So I'll dig 2 of those out, load them up. Simply line it up where the manifold is, the exhaust, the exit of it's facing outward, away from the filters. Turn it over, and once again we are going into plastic, so we'll be very careful we don't over tighten these. go. That's complete. And I believe we're going to put the manifold in on the other side. So we'll get the other manifold out. We'll move that in place. Same thing in this case. We've got the single hole just right here, and it's going to face aft just like that. 2 more AP screws. Hold that in place. Put the first one in. Goes in really easy. Next one. Just like that. So now we have both manifolds in place on the engine sides. Now we install the engine sides onto the bottom of the engine itself and transmission. In this case we're using DM screws. We're using 4 total to put on both sides. And in this case, before I screw them down, we'll do a test fit to make sure everything lines up okay on this. Just to see how everything slots together here like a puzzle. It goes in there, and there we go. So it actually goes in there's a alignment hole right there. You put that in first, and then it slots down on that. You want to get the holes to line up as much as possible with that. And we just got it started, so we're being very careful with that. The next one should go in pretty good. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze to get that screw in, the first one. The second one should be lined up okay, and it is. And we'll tighten this down. And the last one in. And that is tightened down. That's how that looks. Looks great. Now let's do the other side. The other side fits in the same way, much the same way. There's an alignment hole right here it needs to go into. Just like that. And this fits down on that. Once again, we are using DM screws for this. I'll just get it started. Tighten this one. And that is it. Got both sides in. Looks good so far. And I believe the last step we do is we put on the front of the engine. We're going to install the front of the engine here, and then we're going to do a test fit just to see how this all looks. And it looks like we put 2 screws in on the bottom there. You can see the holes that hold the bracket in right there. But before we do that, we'll go ahead and put some lip balm or Vaseline to help us along. We'll use DM screws for that. Put that on there. And we'll put the screw in. Got one started. Do the next one. And number 2 started. Go ahead and tighten these down. And next one. And there you have it. Both sides of the engines are installed. We have the starter, oil filter, fuel filter, the manifolds, and the front of the engine. Coming together. Looks like a real engine. And that completes stage 18. If you like what you see, please head down to my description below. I put a link in there on how you can subscribe to the Eaglemoss Back to the Future DeLorean. This has been fun building this engine. We have lots more to install on this with the next upcoming pack that I'll receive and the 4 issues that go with it. So with that, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like, hit the bell for notifications. Happy modeling, everybody. Take care.